The late-night host famed for his humor and charm, Jay Leno, has revealed stunning news that's shaking Hollywood and his admirers worldwide. Close sources to the comedian revealed a significant event moments ago, something even his faithful audience didn't expect. Jay's path has been intriguing, from decades at The Tonight Show to a tranquil life with old vehicles. But what he disclosed today shocked even longtime friends. Before we continue, subscribe and hit the notification bell because what you'll hear may transform your view of Jay Leno forever. For years, Jay Leno was America's TV sweetheart, smoothly transitioning from stand-up to one of television's most coveted roles. Hosting Jay didn't simply work on The Tonight Show. His calling in life. Jay embodied traditional humor, heart, and hustle from his 1992 debut to his 2014 heartbreaking goodbye. But beneath that broad smile and the classic vehicles was a man discreetly fighting more than late-night competition. After the cameras stopped rolling, Jay reflected and realized his pain. Those who know him best say he's been planning this announcement for months. Fans noted Jay's public absence and rumors emerged, avoiding red carpets and large automotive events. Many assumed he was aging, but insiders suspected something more severe. Jay noted in a recent private talk with a longtime friend that you can spend your whole life making people laugh, but ultimately you have to face silence. That eerie line now hints at what's coming. Jay Leno's talents go beyond humor and vehicles. Known for his resilience, most would have quietly retired after a garage fire and motorbike accident caused significant burns. But Jay didn't. Returning to the stage scarred but cheerful, he proved nothing could stop him. This new discovery is deeper and more personal. The manner he announced it has viewers wondering if Jay Leno's career is ending emotionally. This announcement began like any of Jay Leno's legendary monologues. Easy, friendly, and familiar. However, what happened surprised everyone. Jay gazed directly into the camera from his Burbank garage, surrounded by his beloved vehicles, and talked with a distinctive tone. His statements were emotional. "My life was blessed," he said. "But eventually, you must be honest with yourself and your supporters." This incident revealed much for a man who spent decades diverting personal sorrow with humor. Behind him, vintage headlights flashed on the walls, mute reminders of his world built and loved. He didn't joke this time, not hiding behind his customary grin. Instead, Jay said his health has been a daily battle since his injuries. He didn't say much, but friends say his rehabilitation has been harder than expected. Others say his mobility is limited and the stress of physical treatment has taken its toll. More importantly, Jay said he's been thinking about family, legacy, and peace. He whispered, "You can't take your garage with you," looking at the cars he spent a lifetime fixing. Fans cried after the confession. From stage to studio to garage, Jay has always been about motion. But for the first time, he sounded ready to stop. Insiders say his wife, Mavis, has been asking him to ease down for years, especially following his near-death experiences. Those moments changed everything. Jay, once motivated by job and adrenaline, now seeks gratitude and closure. This speech was a graceful goodbye, not just an update. However, one portion of the announcement shocked everyone. Even longtime friends called in disbelief at what he said. Jay stopped, took a big breath, and announced, "I've decided to let go," shocking everyone. Room went quiet. The live broadcast viewers couldn't believe what they heard. Jay Leno, who defined late-night television, outlasted rivals, and worked ceaselessly despite horrific injuries, announced something few thought possible. He's leaving television and the public eye. For decades, Jay lived for laughter and engines. He'd film Jay Leno's garage during the day and comedy clubs at night, returning home late. His persistent ambition made him one of show business's hardest workers. Jay says it also prevented him from enjoying the little things. "I used to think you had to stay going or you'd fade away," he said in the broadcast, softening. "Now I know stillness isn't weakness. It signifies serenity." Those remarks hit home. Fans shared their sadness and thanks on social media. Jay Leno retiring? Trended internationally in minutes. What stunned everyone was his goodbye plan. Instead of a farewell tour or special, Jay donated a large amount of his car collection, some worth millions, to a charity for young mechanics and engineers. He said these cars gave him purpose, but they should inspire the next generation, not collect dust behind locked doors. Friends said it was hard to decide. Jay's garage was his refuge, museum, and legacy. Give Up is ending a lifelong chapter. For those who know him, it's vintage Leno, leaving generosity rather than drama. The guy who once made the nation laugh every night seeks to change silence. Fans still ask why now? What triggered Jay Leno's unexpected decision? Why did he seem emotional when he suggested time is catching up? Jay Leno's announcement seemed calm, but his close pals knew the reality. Jay has changed following his near-fatal accidents. His first fire, a late 2022 garage fire, burned his face and chest third degree. As he recovered, another occurrence occurred within weeks. A motorbike crash that broke bones. He joked that he had horrible luck with petrol and gravity to the public. However, his friends believe the sorrow never went away. Physical scars healed, but emotional pain lingered. One longtime buddy said Jay joked about everything but was afraid behind closed doors. He realized from those accidents that time doesn't stop for anyone. He canceled shows, avoided people, and spent hours alone in his garage. Even his beloved wife of over 40 years, Mavis, sensed a shift. Jay, once energetic and mischievous, was now quieter and more serious. Friends say it wasn't depression. There was realization. He developed an empire of laughter, but his near-death experiences forced him to face his mortality, which he long neglected. After the physicians warned of another tragic accident, Jay thought about how he wanted to be remembered. Today's breaking news came from that reflection. The comedian has been quietly settling his affairs, donating his $100 million automobile collection to museums, charities, and scholarships, according to sources. It reflects his lifelong commitment to hard work and giving back. Jay's voice trembled when he said, "There's something I haven't told anyone yet, so fans realize the narrative wasn't done." Next words would alter everything. The true reason behind his heartfelt goodbye. Even his critics were subdued when Jay explained the deeper cause for his premature resignation. He lowered his voice while facing the camera. "I have a diagnosis that makes every day harder," he stated. Considering he spent his life making fun of every issue, his seriousness made spectators' hearts drop. Jay never disclosed his health, but friends have confirmed that his physicians urged him to avoid physically demanding tasks like long hours on set and in his workshop. Burns and fractures may have had long-term consequences on Jay's neurological system, affecting his movement and endurance. In recent months, admirers noticed little signs. He walks slower, loses balance, and misses treasured cars. But suddenly it all makes sense. Jay said in his program that losing popularity isn't the hardest aspect about aging. Realizing that your body can fail you after decades of accomplishment. Comedy kept me young, softly, but sorrow reminds you that laughter doesn't halt time. Jay remained optimistic despite his revelation. While smiling, he said he wasn't afraid, just grateful. "I lived my dream. Not many got that chance. Over 40 years, I did it." He said he's not disappearing, but now training new comedians and mechanics to establish their careers like he did. One thing became evident as fans sent support messages. Leno didn't announce for sympathy or attention. He said farewell honestly, humorously, and humbly. Before signing off, Jay hinted to something unexpected. "Before retiring, I must accomplish one project." That single line has stirred excitement and curiosity. What could be the ultimate project? Why is Jay hiding it? Fans struggled to understand Jay Leno's final effort, until the answer emerged. Jay has been discreetly filming a personal documentary on life after the spotlight, not cars or humor, according to close friends. He's been letting cameras inside his house and garage for months, filming unfettered reflection, mechanical tinkering, and deep interactions with his inspirations. We've never seen Jay like this. This time, Jay, his tools, and the truth replaced studio lights and punchlines. His last car, the first one he bought before fame, is purportedly restored in the documentary The Last Ride. Jay stated on his program that horsepower no longer matters. About closure, friends claim this project is his therapy, combining his lifelong likes of stories and mechanics. Each episode will recount his life from his days as a struggling comic sleeping in his vehicle to his success on The Tonight Show. Mavis opens up about their marriage and Jay's relentless career in tearful interviews. Jay wants thanks, not fame, according to one producer. His goal is to leave something human, the producer stated. His fear of endings has subsided. The documentary shows his painful burn recuperation, which he suppressed from admirers. It's raw, emotional, and authentic, unlike his polished image from decades ago. Jay has sworn that this will be his last film, but early video suggests it's his most powerful. The story is about a man learning to stop, a crew member added. It still makes you laugh. Despite the documentary's progress, Jay's enigmatic statements will make sense at the conclusion. Suggest a final twist the world isn't ready for. Hearings regarding Jay Leno's final endeavor increased in the weeks after his emotional broadcast. Reporters gathered outside his Burbank garage to meet the once invincible guy. But Jay wasn't hiding. He worked quietly and methodically on his legacy. It began with a handwritten, personal letter planned to be revealed following his documentary. That letter made the news, and its contents shook Hollywood. Jay wrote, "For years, I thought my job was to make people laugh when life wasn't funny. But I've learned that laughter is only half the story. Love, your audience and co-performers, is the other half. And the woman who stands beside you at night." The words went viral instantaneously. They were unscripted. They were unfiltered. Jay revealed his insecurities for the first time after decades of disguising them behind punchlines. Jay began journaling to stay sane throughout his extended rehabilitation from the fire and motorbike crash, according to the letter. He wrote on life, regret, and the delicate balance between ambition and happiness page after page. He wrote on success's loneliness and shame over neglecting himself to entertain millions. "I missed birthdays, dinners, and calm mornings," he said. "For the fans, I told myself. Might have been. However, I stopped being present in my life." That line alone resonated with readers across generations. Jay is turning those writings into his most personal biography, which will be released alongside the impending documentary, tentatively titled The Last Ride, according to sources. The memoir goes beyond late-night TV behind the scenes. A guy who once commanded America's grandest stage is now learning to let go with dignity in this spiritual contemplation. The book also has Mavis, Jay's longtime wife, sharing private moments. The worry of seeing him suffer. Their modest strength kept their marriage together. And the humor that never left their home, even in sad times. In the garage that nearly killed Jay, the documentary continues. In one of the most dramatic scenes, he returns to the fire's origin surrounded by the burnt car that erupted. Jay smiles and replies, "That's true for automobiles and life." Watchers say early footage is disturbing but peaceful. The camera shows a man who no longer fears death. Polishing the car that burned him is like forgiving the past. But the picture goes beyond pain. It honors his beginnings. Another scene shows Jay visiting his old comedy clubs and talking to young performers who resemble him in the 1970s. Though hungry, nervous, and full of dreams, he provides simple yet meaningful advice. Instead of fame, pursue joy. Byproduct, fame. Joy fuels. That line has become the film's unofficial publicity slogan. The last 10 minutes are poetry, according to insiders who saw the near-final cut. Jay takes his 1934 Ford, his first car, for one last drive down a deserted California desert road after restoring it. Hood reflects golden hour light. The sky turns red. Jay finally stays silent. He softly says, "Every road ends someplace. If you like the ride, that's plenty." The automobile disappears into the horizon as the engine roars and the screen goes black. No applause, no goodbye, just peace. After the letter's legitimacy was proven, admirers flooded his social media with tearful tributes. Some thanked him for decades of laughing. Others were inspired by his tragedy resilience. Some said reading his remarks brought tears to their eyes. The late-night comedy star was suddenly a symbol of courage, humility, and thanks. Jay's strange comment remains in everyone's mind. After the finish, everything makes sense. What might he mean? A metaphor for closure or something more final? Jay Leno's story has grown beyond fame and prosperity as the world awaits his last ride. A contemplation about legacy, mortality, and living. As Jay Leno's final documentary and memoir approach, the world waits. After the premiere date was revealed, it sold out in minutes. The small Los Angeles theater Jay picked drew fans, comedians, and late-night rivals. He viewed great films at an old art house cinema as a struggling comic. It felt more like a reunion than a red carpet. Inside, lights dimmed. Jay appeared on film one last time, sitting in his garage, and the audience became silent. His opening comments set the tone for everything. "If you're watching, I'm done." The film began silently. Then tools clinking, engines whirring, and memories unraveling. Jay told his life story as a man attempting to understand it. He recounted performing for 5 people in smoky rooms, going years without a vacation, and worrying he wouldn't live up to Carson's legacy. "I didn't want to replace him," Jay whispered, "just to prove my place." The film alternated between his golden years on The Tonight Show and his tranquil life. It was bittersweet, but not sad. He mocked his failures, lauded his rivals, and even made fun of his career controversies. Halfway through the film, a shocking twist occurred. A dusty and used loop of tape from decades ago showed Jay as a young man standing behind Johnny Carson during one of their final private sessions. Carson advised him to be himself when the jokes failed in that footage. People will remember that. Audience members cried at that cue. First revealed the mentor-student relationship that had been kept secret. Jay returned to his burn hospital in the next segment. He interviewed the physicians and nurses who saved him instead of dealing with his suffering, asking about their lives, passions, and resilience after catastrophe. The scene aptly portrayed Jay Leno, who moves every topic away from himself and onto others. Jay polished the same car he'd worked on since his recovery in the last minutes of the journey. The camera circled slowly as he tightened one last screw, wiped the chrome, and admired it. "His car has been burned and rebuilt," he remarked calmly. "So have I. I suppose we both run." Without saying anything, he started the car and left the garage. An eerie orchestral score mixed with the car's sound in the theater. The audience watched Jay guide. Car on desert roadway under golden sky. His voice appeared again as the camera panned. "Every joke I know is told. Now I want to listen." As the screen went black, one line was displayed in tribute to everyone who laughed when they wanted to cry. Applause and tears filled the theater as they realized this wasn't a goodbye. A conclusion. Post-premiere tributes came from across the entertainment business. After Jay left The Tonight Show, Jimmy Fallon hailed him the model of dedication. Former rival David Letterman said, "Jay and I argued for years over who won the chair," in a rare public declaration. He was storing it for future generations. Even Jerry Seinfeld and Ellen DeGeneres credited Jay's modesty for shaping their careers. Some online fans called the film America's unnecessary goodbye. Jay hasn't appeared publicly since that night. He spends most of his days with Mavis at home, occasionally visiting his garage, but largely enjoying tranquil California coast drives, according to friends. Because he showed that laughter, endurance, and grace can survive celebrity, his legacy lives on. What started as breaking news has become deeper. Jay Leno's finale didn't involve engines or applause. It involved knowing when to coast and taking your hands off the wheel. He didn't just end a career. His voyage shows us that all roads lead home, no matter how long.